Good afternoon. My name is David Newberry from Profiling Solutions. I am the Vice President of Business Development, and we're excited to be able to present to you our integration for eAutomate to SugarCRM, what we call eCopierCRM. Over the next 45 minutes to an hour, what we will do is have a brief presentation of some of the features of eCopierCRM and SugarCRM, and then we'll go into the last few minutes of the presentation. We'll go into a demo of SugarCRM to show you some of the functionality of SugarCRM, our integration into eCopier, and then some of the benefits of why SugarCRM is a good option to be your CRM system. Profiling Solutions is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. We are a gold business partner with SugarCRM, a SugarCRM business partner for a little over 3 years, and have won awards with Sugar each year. Our integration with eAutomate is PIP certified. We are using the Digital Gateway web service to be able to transfer information from eAutomate to SugarCRM. So what are some of the differentiators that make SugarCRM and eCopierCRM a good option for you? Obviously, with the integration, we integrate into eAutomate. SugarCRM has email integration with Outlook. So with the professional version of SugarCRM comes in Outlook integration. That Outlook integration allows you to send emails through Outlook and have those emails archived in Sugar. You can receive an email in Sugar or in Outlook and be able to archive it, so we can archive emails either way. It also allows the ability to sync contacts from SugarCRM to Outlook and vice versa, and the same applies to appointments and calls and meetings and tasks. It's a great way to be able to store the history, to be able to get the complete view of what the customer or what the lead is looking for. So email integration. Dynamic customizations is a really nice feature in SugarCRM. Inside of the studio, we have the ability to drag and drop. So we can change layouts, we can add fields, all really with just a very few clicks. And we can make those changes dynamically, meaning that there's no compiling. So when I press the Save and Deploy button, my users can see those changes instantly. Automation becomes a very nice feature for Sugar. We have the ability to automate different tasks or workflows. So if I wanted to be able to change the information automatically based on some condition, then I can use a workflow to do that. I can also use workflows to do things like send reports or send emails to clients based on some condition. SugarCRM also has a number of different mobile options that we'll look at today. Primarily there are 3. The first 2 options come with the professional version. The first option is what we call Sugar Mobile, which is an app that can be downloaded for the iPhone or the Android or iPad. Allows you to search contacts, accounts, any entity inside of SugarCRM. Allows you to change information, edit information, add additional information, plus the normal features of being able to call, to be able to send an email, to be able to use the map in the mobile device. The next option would be the browser version, which we will also look at. And finally, in the corporate version of SugarCRM, there's an offline app that can be used. Finally, the cloud. SugarCRM is a web service. Is a hosted solution, and so can be accessed anywhere you are, as long as you have a browser and an internet connection. So a little bit about the integration. So the integration stands between the eAutomate, eCopier integration stands between the eAutomate server and SugarCRM and processes that information through the web service. And obviously, as we show on the image on the right below the lower right-hand side, we can display that information on any device. Now, this is the diagram for everything but history. So history is not included in this. Service history is not included in this. However, if we go to the next slide, the way that we present service history is we present it directly from eAutomate. So one of the reasons we did that was because there is so much service history that we didn't necessarily want to bog down the system with millions, potentially millions, or at least hundreds of thousands of records that really would only be used a minimum number of times. So in some organizations that's different, but for the overwhelming number of organizations, the service history is really kind of just a place marker in time that we're looking at. So in that case, we pull the history directly from eAutomate and we present that to you. Obviously, it can be shown on all the different devices. Some of the features of eCopier CRM. From the SugarCRM side, account management and contact management, activity management, campaign management. Campaign management is the ability to send out blast emails to your leads or to your customers and being able to track those emails, those campaign emails inside of SugarCRM. We've spoken briefly about workflows and alerts. These workflows and alerts, again, allow you to automate some process, whether it's a report, whether it's an email, whether it's the changing of information inside the system based on another condition. Dashboards and custom reports. A very nice feature in SugarCRM allows you to create custom reports for you and your users. These reports that have a graph associated with them can then be put on your home page of SugarCRM. We also have pre-built dashlets that can be reconfigured for other purposes. So one of the most common ones is what we call a My Calls dashlet. And the My Calls dashlet is a listing of all the calls that you have scheduled for you to make. I may decide that I want to reconfigure that dashlet so I can look at a team of people to see what their calls look like or what their call load looks like. Well, I can do that with this dashlet by simply creating a new dashlet and changing the filters on it. Record level security. Again, record level security, when we talk about record level security, we're talking about a couple of different things. Number one is the ability to determine whether we want to show everybody a record, which we would call global, or whether we want to make it where only certain people see that record. So we have that ability in SugarCRM. Another part of that is what we call roles. And roles is the ability for us to dictate how someone can interact in the system at an entity level or at a field level. And what I mean by that is that we may have a group of people that we don't want to see a certain entity. Well, we can make that happen with the roles module. Also, we may decide that there are certain fields within SugarCRM that we want to dictate how people can interact with them. We may decide that a certain group may not be able to see the field at all, and we can do that. We may decide that some people can only have read access to it, and we can do that. And for other groups of people, it may be read-write. They have full permission to do whatever they want to. So whatever the need is, we can accommodate to that in SugarCRM. From the eAutomate side, obviously, account and contact management, our integration pulls in things like leases, equipment location, equipment contracts, service history, and then we've added a new module called competitive equipment, where you can go in and add equipment that your competitors may have at one of your client sites. And then, again, one example of notification of workflows would be that when that piece of equipment comes off lease, be able to contact that customer in advance so that you can win their business. As far as the mobile options go, and we've already talked about it a little bit, this is a picture that we're looking at now of Sugar Mobile. Again, you can see in the background picture, you can see the custom entities. We have one for, we can see competitive equipment there. The picture, the image in the middle is what the list view looks like. So if I were to do a search or just pull up all accounts, that's what it would look like. And then if I was to drill down into an account, these were the, in the picture in the foreground would be what the view might look like. You'll notice that we can make a phone call by pushing the phone button from this view. If I do that, then the app will prompt me to whether or not I wish to record the notes of that call. So I can actually record the call in SugarCRM. I can go to the website by pushing the website button. I can create an email by pushing the email button. And in this example, I can push the maps button, the address button, and it takes me to a map of this location. The next option is the browser option. Again, very similar, but instead of having an app that's installed on my device, this is using the browser on your device and going to the URL for your SugarCRM and looking at the information. So the screen in the background is the list view. So the presentation is a little bit different. Instead of having the icons like we have in the first image, you'll see that it asks you to select a module. So do I want to select accounts or do I want to select contacts? In the picture, in the image in the middle is an example of the list view, and if you look below, the detail view, and if you look below, you'll see related information, such in this image, calls and equipment. And then if we look at the picture in the foreground, then what we're looking at is the edit view for the account. One of the things that we can do that in the browser view that we cannot do in the app view is we can add additional fields. As was mentioned earlier, we have, in the corporate version, there is Sugar Mobile Plus. The claim to fame for Sugar Mobile Plus is it is customizable. Where the other ones we can, in the Sugar Mobile, we cannot add any fields, and in the browser we can add a limited number of fields. In the Sugar Mobile Plus, we can add up to 60 fields per entity. Additionally, Sugar Mobile Plus has offline capabilities. So I can be on the road in an airplane, not have internet connection, and be able to interact with SugarCRM data. I can change data, I can edit data, I can add additional data, create records, do all the things that I could normally do. Then when I get to an internet connection, I can open the app up, sync the app, and the app will sync all of its changes to the server, and the server will send all of its changes down to the app. And the cloud. With SugarCRM, you have the ability to choose where you want to have SugarCRM hosted. By default, it's hosted on the SugarCRM cloud. It comes with the licenses. SugarCRM performs all the updates. They perform the backups. They perform, in fact, they perform a daily backup. So your data is backed up daily. At the end of the month, at the end of your first month, you would have 30 daily backups and 1 monthly backup. At the end of 12 months, you would have 12 monthly backups and the latest 30 daily backups. You can also host SugarCRM on your own network. So if you had a web server where you wanted to host it, you have that option also. And then you could host it on your own private cloud, whether maybe you have an Amazon account or you have a Rackspace account or some other cloud account. You can certainly host SugarCRM there. The reason that's important, and it may not be important initially, but the reason that's important is because SugarCRM believes that you should own your data. Unlike some of our competitors, you have your own database. You are not sharing a database with other companies. The reason that's important is because it gives you flexibility. It gives you flexibility in the solution that's created for you. There are no limitations of any kind with Sugar. Just because you have a certain number of users doesn't mean you have to upgrade to the next version. So in Sugar, we frequently talk about being no limitations, and this is a perfect example of that. Next, we will go to the SugarCRM site, and this might be your SugarCRM. If you decide to purchase SugarCRM and eCopier, might look something like this. So, as we kind of talked about in the introduction, what we're looking at here on the left-hand side is my calls. And as a salesperson, when I get up in the morning and I turn on SugarCRM, this is the first thing that I'm looking at to see what my day holds. I may also add a couple of other dashlets, such as my meetings. So I have my calls and my meetings. My schedule is set. I know who to call. Makes everything very easy and very manageable to complete the tasks that I need to complete. In SugarCRM, we have a number of different pre-built dashlets that we can use. And so these are the example that we talked about a little bit earlier of being able to create your own dashboard, be able to select the dashlets that you need or want to use to make your job easier and more manageable. One of the nice things about this is I can go to the Charts tab, and any report, any custom report that I have created or has been created for me, I can add to the dashboard. So in this example, we have a number of custom reports that we could choose from to be able to show the information that we want to show in the way we want to show it. Additionally, from SugarCRM, some of the things that you will see throughout SugarCRM is the global search. Global search is a text search, and you'll see that at the top right, that allows me to type in a string of words. It's configurable by entity so that I can select which entities that I want to search from, and then be able to pull up a list of where what records are applicable to the letters that I typed in. So a very functional way to be able to find things very quickly in SugarCRM. Another type of search is what we call advanced search. And advanced search is done by entity and is configurable. One of the things that we talk about all the time in SugarCRM is configuration. Configuration is the ability to change the layout, to add fields, to create new modules, all within inside the product itself. I don't have to go outside the product to do that. When we talk about customizations, what we're talking about is actually touching code. So the configuration is touching of no code at all. There's no access to the code. You don't have to do that. And what we generally find is that about 80% of what people traditionally want is configuration. And the rest of it, if there is any, the other 20, is customization. So in this list, you'll notice that we have put in a couple of custom fields, which would be the eAutomate customer number. So if I wanted to search by that number, that's a field that we added that's in the integration, then I can search by that, and I can search by any number, any of these criteria that I wish. When I search by one of these criteria, then I can save this search and reference it at a later date. The nice thing about that is that that search is dynamic because it's a criteria search. So as accounts move in and out, as we get more accounts, as a salesperson, as I'm assigned more accounts, then I'm going to see the most up-to-date listing of whatever that criteria search was, whatever that saved search was. So a lot of functionality there. This is also an excellent way to be able to perform campaign emails. So I would come here, I would decide which group of people that I wish to send the campaign to, and then from the advanced search, select those people and then create a campaign. The next thing that we'll look at is the list view. Now the list view is pretty basic. It's just a list of all the accounts based on the criteria that we've selected. Remember that everything in SugarCRM is configurable, so that if I wanted to have additional fields in this listing that made this listing more beneficial to me, I can do that. I can do that from a system administrator position, which would be a systematic change, or I can do it from a user perspective. So maybe in my job, there's certain fields that I need to see that maybe other people don't care about. Well, I can make that happen through the configuration. When we click on an account, there are a number of different relationships that we're going to look at through this process. So again, we have a lot of information about the account, account information, telephone numbers, customer ID numbers, location numbers, websites, things of that sort. We also have the ability to put things in tabs or panels, and we're using the tabs example right now. But I can segment information into different tabs so that I can preserve my screen real estate. Now that becomes an important issue because I may have hundreds of fields on my screen, but I really want to segment those so that when I first go to an account, I'm looking at the fields that are most appropriate. You'll also notice that we have a number of different relationships contained in Sugar out of the box. So things like contacts. Contacts for an account, I can have as many contacts as I wish. There is no limit. And I can categorize and segment those contacts any way that I wish. Activities are things that are going to happen in the future. They may be calls, they may be tasks, they may be meetings. And then I have history. History are things that have already happened. They are things that they may be activities that have happened in the past. They may be emails that I've archived into the system. One thing to take note of as far as email archiving is that if I archive an email, sorry about that. If I archive an email that has an attachment, then when I archive that email, the attachment is saved with it, and I can open that attachment in SugarCRM. The entire body of the email, so from the header all the way down to the footer, is preserved in SugarCRM. So I have an exact representation of that email. As we scroll down a little farther, we have things that like opportunities. So the probability that I'm going to sell something to someone. Each one of these probabilities has its own sales stage, or can have its own sales stage, and it also has an estimated close date and an amount. So from that perspective, then I can start tracking things through a pipeline chart. I can create reports using workflows to be able to alert me when an opportunity is about to be past due or when it is past due. And I can do that from a sales rep perspective, but I can also do that from a management perspective. And we, as a best practices, we always want these opportunities to be updated so that we can put the best pipeline together so that we can have a good forecast moving forward. So opportunities become a very nice feature in any CRM system. Some of the things that we added to the CRM system are things like equipment and leases and location equipment and equipment contracts. We already talked about these a little bit, but one of the nice things about Sugar is that obviously equipment contracts are related to equipment. And in some systems, for me to be able to see an equipment contract, I would have to go into the equipment. or maybe it's vice versa. To be able to see the equipment, I need to go into the contract. Well, in SugarCRM, we don't have that. What we have is the ability to show information regardless of where it lies at the very highest level of the system. So what I'm talking about there is just because something is buried below that's related to it doesn't mean that I cannot show it. And that becomes a very nice feature. So instead of having to deep dive into a record, I can easily look at an account and see everything about that account in a glance. If we click into the equipment tab, then we're going to see all the information that we're pulling from eAutomate. Things like equipment number and serial number and the status and the model number and things of that nature, when it was installed, when maintenance was performed on it, things of that nature. As we scroll down, then we see the service history. And in this case, we have a lot of service history. There's a lot of different things that we could do with service history. Again, going back to the workflows, let's say that I have 2 or 3 that I decide as a company that if I have 3 service calls on a piece of equipment that we need to take some action or somebody needs to be alerted. Well, by having this service history and by having a workflow that tells me what the limit is, now I can notify somebody that this piece of equipment is acting up. Maybe we need to go perform maintenance, or maybe we need to talk about replacing it, or maybe the equipment doesn't fit what the needs of the company are. So, but it gives me the opportunity to do some upselling and keep my customer on the best path. As we scroll down, you'll notice that you'll also see equipment contracts. Well, we saw equipment contracts on the account page, but in this case, this piece of equipment has a contract, and so now we can see it. So we can see that relationship on either side of equipment. We can see it from the account perspective, and we can see it from the equipment perspective. If we go back to the account, the next thing that we'll look at is leases. And in leases, obviously, we're storing the information about the leases that are coming from eAutomate. Again, if you're storing additional information over and above what eAutomate would store, then we can add those fields also. One of the things that always comes up when we talk about leases is I need to know when a lease is going to expire, and I really want to know when that lease is. I want to know before the lease expires that we have that the lease is going to expire. Well, we can do that. Again, we can do that. There's a dashlet that we could have looked at earlier that is for leases. And we could configure that dashlet to show all the leases that are going to expire in the next month. And maybe we create another one that says, show all the leases that expire this month, and show all the leases that expire next month, so that we can proactively manage this. That in connection with reporting that can be scheduled, and we'll look at that in just a minute, in conjunction with the ability to have an individual workflow that maybe 2 days before the lease is to expire and no action's taken place, maybe we send an email off to the service manager or to the VP of sales or the sales rep to let them know so they can proactively renew this lease. Becomes a very important aspect of SugarCRM. That alerting information becomes very important. We'll go back one more time, back to the account. You'll notice that I'm not using the back button, which I could, but my linkage to my account is on every record. So all I have to do is find my link and click on it, and I go back to the account that I was on. The final thing we have is location equipment. And again, very similar to what you're probably already used to. we're showing the location of this equipment. Actually, I clicked on the wrong one, but I apologize. Location equipment is just saying where that piece of equipment is located. One other nice feature that we've incorporated into eCopierCRM, and I'm going to go back to the home page to show this, is we have a mapping feature. And in this mapping feature, we're able to create maps, radius maps around different accounts. And so in this one, I have created a map for a company called Cost Copier, and I've made the radius of this map 3 miles. So what it's going to do is show me all the accounts that are within a 3-mile radius of this business. And so if I click on this map, SugarCRM will load this information. And so we're looking at Dallas, Texas area. Obviously, I've already created that. And I can go view the map. Now, when would I use this? Well, maybe I'm going, as a salesperson, I'm on the road, I'm going to see customers, and I want to be, and maybe my meeting ran short, or maybe I didn't have as much to do. And so now I want to be able to look at a map and see where my other customers are. And so with this functionality, it would allow me to pinpoint where I should go next and what customer that I could potentially go see in a very quick period of time. The next thing that I want to show is reporting. Reporting always becomes a very important issue. Obviously, in any CRM system or any accounting system, we put all this information in, but we need some way to get it out. And for SugarCRM, reporting is an excellent option. So reports can be created in 3 different formats. There's a rows and columns report, there is a summation with details report, and a summation report, and a matrix report. So the first report that we'll look at is called a rows and columns report. Again, you'll notice that I'm using the advanced search feature to be able to find this report. So I could come and I could select opportunities and rows and columns and be able to pull up all the opportunity reports that are rows and columns. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my selection and just select rows and columns and press search. And that's going to show me all the reports. One thing to remember about SugarCRM is it comes with about 40 pre-built reports for the different entities in Sugar. So oftentimes, instead of having to create a report from scratch, we can take an existing report and modify it to do the things that we want it to do, which is a nice time savings. So if I were to click on a report, and we'll click on all open reports, then this is going to show me the listing of all the open opportunities in SugarCRM. What you'll notice is that we actually have the ability to change the criteria on this report, and this is what we would refer to as runtime. So at runtime, this criteria will pop up and allow me to change the settings, change the values to get the kind of report that I'm looking for. On the reporting, I have a number of different things that I can do. I can print this report out as a PDF. I can export this report out to CSV. And additionally, I can schedule this report to be sent to me in an email on some interval that I prescribe. And it will appear to me, it will appear in my email box as an attachment. Again, a great way to proactively know what's going on in the system by using reporting. The next type of report that we'll look at is called a summation with details. And really the summation with details is probably my favorite report because it shows me a graph that I can place on my dashboard. But if I need more details, then I can see that below the graph. So we will pull up, we'll do a search for summation with details. and we'll look at opportunities by lead source. So in this example, we have the lead source graphic that we could look at, and that would fit in a window on our dashboard. But then if we scroll down, we can look at the details of the report. So I can see a lot more information about these different lead sources and the opportunities associated to them than I could in the graph. The nice thing about this is that where you see where it says opportunities and lead source, in this case it says none, but it's given me a count. Other things that I could have done with this would be to put the average. So what's the average opportunity amount for these opportunities? What's the max? What's the min? What's the total sum? I could also have done additional group bys. So I could have put in the assigned to user. So I could have sorted this by assigned to. So a lot of different functionality to be able to see what I'm looking for inside of SugarCRM and be able to get the details from that I'm looking for, especially from a management position. The last thing that we'll look at before we close this afternoon is the studio. Like I said earlier, the studio is part of SugarCRM. It comes with it. There's no additional cost for it. To be able to use the studio or the admin section in general, all I have to do is be an admin in the system. And with Sugar, I can have as many admins as I want. So if we go to the admin section of SugarCRM, I can scroll down a little bit, and I will see Studio, and I can click on Studio. Now, the scenario that we're going to do in the next probably 2 minutes is adding a field to SugarCRM. The first thing I have to do is decide where I want that field to be. So in this example, we're going to put it on the account. Next, I go to Fields, and I decide what I want to call that field. So in this case, I'm going to go Add Field, and we are going to call this field, we're going to make it a text field, although it could be any one of 15 or 16 different field types. Again, we're going to pick just a basic text field. And in this, we're going to put county. Some of the additional things that I could do with this is I could, if this was an integer field, I could add or create a formula that would perform some operation with numbers. I can also do certain things with strings from a formula perspective. I can make it a dependent field. A dependent field is this field is active based on the value of some other field. So again, let's say that I had a drop down that had other in it, and I want people to tell me what other is. So they would select other, and then a field would appear where they could type in the other. So now I'm going to save this field. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the layout. So I'm going to go to Layouts, and I'm going to go to the Edit view, and I'm going to add this field. So right now I can tell that I really don't have a place to put it. Well, that's easy to solve. All I have to do is take the new row and drag it and place it wherever I want. So I'm going to place it at the bottom. Actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to place it underneath the address. And then I'm going to find my field, which oftentimes is harder than actually creating the field. And I'm going to drag it and put it in the position that I want it to be in. In this example, I'm going to create two views at the same, I'm going to change two views at the same time. So I'm going to sync the detail view. So I'm changing the edit view and the detail view, and I'm going to press save and deploy. Now, if I wanted to change the layout, if I wanted to add additional tabs, or I wanted to go from tabs to panels or panels to tabs, I can do all of that right here. So if I wanted to change, if I didn't like the layout and I wanted email address to be a small blank rather than covering the whole 2 columns, I can do that. I can make sales rep smaller. I can make IT rep smaller, and I could put additional fields there. If I thought that IT rep should be above sales rep, then I could drag and drop it in its location. If I wanted to, we'll uncheck this box and press save. If I wanted to go from tabs to panels, then I could do that also. So I have a lot of flexibility in how I want to construct the views for my users. So for ease of use sake, we're just going to open up a new tab. Additionally, if I didn't want to open up a new tab, if I already had the account open, the only thing that I need to do to see that new field is just do a refresh. There's no compile. It happens instantly. So if I click on my account again of Crawford Steel, now you're seeing the county field. And if I went to the edit view, then we could type in a county and save it, and it would present on the detail view. So very easy to change fields. One of the benefits, obviously, of that is a company like Profiling Solutions, we certainly do a lot of professional services. But really, this functionality allows you to own your own system so that you're not dependent on somebody like Profiling Solutions. When you want to add a field or when you want to do something similar to this, you have the ability to do it yourself. Are there any questions? If you have a question, please enter it into the chat. If there are no questions, what I will do, and I'm kind of ill prepared for this, but if you'll give me a second, I will give you my my email address and my telephone number. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. If you would like a deep dive into our integration of SugarCRM and eAutomate, would be more than happy to do that. Would be more than happy to address any questions that you might have. I will be on for the next 4 or 5 minutes. If you have any questions, please let me know. You have my contact information, and if I can be of any help, please let me know. Thank you for your time.